Alright, we're getting started about 7:30. A lot of people at the trailhead. It's supposed to be a nice sunny day up there. Here's Sierra, somewhere over there. Friend that I'm climbing with. Lots of other people gonna be up there with us. So, we'll see how it goes. Alright, we're getting up onto the climbing route. We're going to follow this gully up behind me to the right, where the snow looks pretty good. If you look all the way up, that high point you can see, that's actually the crater rim. Interesting thing about this route is you can see the high point almost the whole time. The cloud seems to be thinning, so hopefully we'll get a nice view once we're up there. South side of Mount St. Helens, when the big eruption happened in 1980 in the spring, a lot of the glaciers melted. The heat of the eruption melted almost all the glaciers and sent these huge mud flows, really, called lahars, down this side of the mountain, actually following the creek valley that we came up, Swift Creek, and then a few of the other rivers on the far side. So on this side of the mountain, that's probably the biggest eruptive effect that we'll see, is the tracks from those big mud flows. Alright, we've made it to about 6,200 feet. We're a little ways over, a little more than halfway up. You can see behind me, that is actually the crater rim, that high point. We've got about 2,000 more feet to climb. We've gotten just about to the top of that gully that we were coming up. We're going to get onto the Swift Glacier pretty soon. While we're here in a nice sheltered area, I want to take a minute and just show you some of the gear we use up here. On the Mount Hood movie, I showed you some of the things we use to climb. The ice axe, we got the crampons that go on our boots, and then the climbing skin that goes underneath our skis so that we can ski uphill. I want to show you now a few of the things that we use to stay safe up here. Definitely a helmet is a big part of that. Anytime we're worried about ice or rock fall, we're gonna have our helmets on, and definitely for the descent as well. One of the other things that we worry about up here is avalanches. Our biggest tool to stay safe by far is to know the conditions, know the terrain, and just keep ourselves out of dangerous situations. We're always watching the weather, checking the avalanche forecast to see what the hazards might be. But when we're up here, there is always a little bit of risk, so I'm going to show you some of the things that we use to stay safe. This is the first thing. It's called a beacon. We put these on in the parking lot, turn them on just as soon as we leave, and once they're turned on, they actually send out a signal so that we can be located should we get buried in an avalanche. Kind of thing where you hope you never use it, but it's like a seatbelt. You don't plan to get in an accident, but if you do, sure want to have it on. So if one of us were to get buried, we can actually switch it over from transmit mode to seek mode. I'm gonna push that button, all right? And now it's telling me that Sierra is about 2 meters away from me. So that sounds right. So if one of us were to get buried, we'd switch over to seek mode and basically just do a pattern over the area where we think our partner might be buried until you get your lowest reading, right? Until you get as close as possible. At that point, we switch over to another tool, which I've actually stuck all the way down into the snow. This is called a probe, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. Once you get to the point where you think your partner is buried, you just start poking it into the snow until you hit something. And once you do, we have a collapsible shovel, and you just start digging like crazy. You really only have a couple minutes to get somebody out if they're buried, so speed is really of the essence. And this stuff definitely saves lives, but we also do everything we can to stay out of the path of an avalanche and stay off of dangerous terrain. part of the climb where you just gotta keep putting one foot in front of the other. We're on a big snow slope. It's gonna take us right up to the crater rim, and skiing conditions are great. Beautiful day. Just gotta keep on plodding. We made it! Pretty windy, real sunny, looking good up here. It's a beautiful day. Alright, you're looking at the summit of Mount St. Helens. Used to be over 1,000 feet taller. Here you're looking into the crater. This was all blown out in the 1980 eruption. It used to be a big cone. Down in the crater you can see the new dome that's erupted in the last few years. There's Spirit Lake and Mount Rainier in the background. Here you can see the other side of the crater rim. It forms a big horseshoe. And looking out, you can see Mount Hood down into the valley. The view from the crater's rim into the blast zone is a sobering reminder of the eruption's force. On the morning of May 18, 1980, an earthquake underneath the mountain triggered a massive landslide on the northern flank. This allowed most of the eruption's force to be directed to the north and results in the crater shaped like a horseshoe that we see today. The blast reached 19 miles from the mountain's peak and devastated an area of over 200 square miles. Yeah. All right, we made it back. It's about 2:15 in the afternoon. Had great conditions all the way down, pretty soft snow for a while, but even once we got in the woods, it was quick, and now we're here. Beautiful sunny day.
Woohoo!
Yeah.